Hello, and welcome to the Monster Painter. This week, we're taking a look at EnderToys' Mausoleum Graveyard Scene. So, for the whopping price of $28.25, my buddy Dave ordered this kit off of Amazon from Ender Games. And what do we get? Oh, $28.25 Canadian, including shipping and tax. And what do we get? Well, as you've seen already, we get a mausoleum. And we get a couple of statues. And then we get a bag of 32 tombstones. Quite a pile. And they come in, I think, five different types. There's two, there's a third one there. Yep, well, five different types. Very nice. And then we get a little painting guide, and it recommends you use 2 coats of Rust-Oleum 2-in-1 filler and sandable primer, which will, I guess, get rid of the print lines, which, you know, this would probably work quite well. I myself do not have the kind of space that allows for a lot of spray painting, so I'm just gonna gesture these guys up straightforwardly. But yeah, if you can spray, this would be a very good method for getting rid of those print lines. Print lines don't bother me too much. For $28.25 Canadian, this is a pretty inexpensive lot of terrain. All right, well, as we are going to be doing a mountain of tombstones, 32, I'm going to give you the crucial tip, a classic tabletop painter maneuver, which is to build up a little assembly line so that we can get these little guys painted up a little more efficiently. A craft stick, some fun tack, and we'll create a more efficient system for painting all these massive number of tombstones. Everything is ready to prime up, but I think I want to take a moment to reflect on the absurdity of painting gray things white in order to paint them gray again. To be honest, I think with this set, more so than other sets, you can probably get away without painting them at all and just plunking them down onto your tabletop. As, like I said, I'm going to paint them white in order to paint them gray, and they're already gray. Although, you know, it does have a bit of that print line shiny sheeniness to it, which the painting will take care of. But if you're in a rush, or you just don't have the paint skills or the materials, this Ender kit could be tabled very easily straight out of the box. But I'm going to prime them, because I love to paint. And here they are, all primed up and ready for the next step, which is to paint them gray again. And I have to say, the nice thing about 3D printed models is those mold lines really grab the gesso wonderfully well. I think these are going to paint up really nicely. And here they are, all painted gray again. Oh, you know, sometimes this hobby makes me feel silly, but yep, I got the back, you know, somewhat close. The similar sort of gray. I think mine is a little nicer than the straight printed plastic. And of course, the paint will let me do some nice dry brushing, which is the next step. The tombstones are looking quite close to being finished. Gonna give them a little bit of moss along the bottom, but those are looking nice and complete. The monks, the statues of the monks, we're gonna do a different color for their bases and make them a little more interesting. It's gonna need a little more work, but the mausoleum is coming along nicely. We're gonna add some marble. We're gonna make a green copper roof. And I think that's gonna be fun. Right, well, we're clipping along. and it looks like our tombstones are all nicely finished. Got a little more work to do on the statues. Got to finish off that base. And we got the brown coat on for our friend, the Mausoleum. So she's moving along. It's going to be done soon. These bad boys are almost done. And they're really starting to come together. Just a couple more washes and they'll be finished. And here we have the kit all done up in its natural habitat. Finished. Natural habitat being, of course, Gothic horror. And yeah, I mean, for $28 and change, that's a lot of Gothic horror. Let's take a closer look. The bulk of this set is made up of the 32 tombstones that we get, and they come in in 5 varieties. Kind of a random number of tombstones of each one, but you know, 5 different sculpts is pretty nice. And they're quite convincing as tombstones. I mean, those look pretty tombstone-y to me. But there is one issue with them. As with tombstones of all sorts, these ones are extremely tippy, and they're going to require a base. At least most of them. These ones are not so tippy. The statues are pretty nice, even if they are really, really simple. They still get the job done, looking like menacing Gothic statues. Finally, the star of the show, the mausoleum itself. And it painted up quite nicely, looking very Gothic and scary, and interesting to the eye. Again, it's a simple design, but there's enough there that you can really sink your teeth into and make a lovely terrain piece with it. Ender Games Mausoleum and Graveyard set. A inexpensive, simple set of terrain, but it delivers quite a lot for $28 and change Canadian, tax included, shipping included, all that included. So while it is simple, it paints up nice, and because of this, I'm going to give it my 4th highest rating, solid. Now, there are some of you out there who might be a little disappointed. You might have been expecting this week's Monster Painter to be about giant fighting robots. Well, circumstances forced me to kick that down the road, but I assure you, next week there's going to be more Gothic horror! Like, comment, subscribe.